So here we are again. Jagwan, welcome back. Happy to be back here in our ashram by the sea, and welcome to all of you in the waking state joining us wherever you are. So we have a little different camera setup tonight, so it might look a little different. We have a pseudo tripod, so it's a little bit of an angle. So just to let you know that. And we have our, some beautiful yogis and yoginis here to participate in our satsang. So I think I wrote that we're going to cover or investigate impersonalized prana and personalized prana. So, okay, Jennifer, he's watching. So I'm going to I'll touch into that a little bit more, but I just wanted to give you kind of a heads up of that's what the topic is for this evening. And I'm also going to guide you through an experience. Felt like it would be the appropriate, there's an appropriateness to that. So for right now, let's just all close our eyes together and just take a few moments to attune ourselves and to kind of settle into being here as a sangha. Okay? And so just resting your hands in your comfortable. And without making yourself unduly concerned, allow you to relax. And your breath to just fall into it. And then just notice how by simply putting your attention onto the energy of the breath naturally begins to shift. Maybe it lengthens or deepens. And notice how as the breath lengthens, deepens, the body becomes more relaxed, more at ease. Maybe even the thoughts begin to slow down. You might even notice some gaps between the thoughts. And just simply begin to notice kind of the energetic field that is you. Without any commentary, without any identification, without any labels. And then slowly allow the hands to begin to float up towards the center of the chest, bringing the hands together in prayer position. And if you're still moving, notice that there's an anticipation that arises before the skin boundary of the palms meet each other. It's almost like you can feel that energetic field before they physically touch. It might reveal itself in terms of heat or a slight magnetic pressure. And then as the hands are resting together, with reverence, with gratitude for this opportunity to be together in satsang, let's chant the prayer of intention. If you know it, please join in. If it's not familiar to you, just simply listen and just allow it to soak into you. And I'll give you the invitation before we begin. The transliteration is, lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness. Textures, expanding in the peripheral view. And Jai Bhagwan. And Jai Bhagwan. And Jai Bhagwan. And Jai Bhagwan. So this greeting, the salutation, Jai Bhagwan, many people go, oh, what is that? What does that mean? And there's many folks are familiar with the salutation or the greeting, Namaste, right? Okay. And so Jai Bhagwan has a similar kind of feeling to it, in the sense that it's a salutation or a greeting. However, it's more than that. It has a grander expanse. And in India, there's definitely namaste. There's definitely namaskar, which is the Hindi version of namaste. There's Hare Krishna, or there's Hare Rama, or Om Namah Shivaya. There's all these salutations or mantras that are said to elicit the reference to, something that's greater than this dense body-mind complex. So Jai Bhagwan is also like that, and it's in the lineage, the tradition of yoga and teachings that I have had the opportunity to study with and am initiated by. We say Jai Bhagwan, and so Jai is like victory, victorious, celebration, right? It's like, wow, Jai, it's kind of like a big, expansive, celebratory word. And then Bhagwan is basically another word for God. So Bhagwan, and where we live in the world, on the west coast of Canada, Bhagwan is creator, right? We know Bhagwan is creator, okay? Because we are so interconnected with the indigenous population here. So Bhagwan. There's also some people might refer to it as divinity or spirit. So when I say, Bhagwan, it's coming from a place of love, right? Love as not the conditional love, but love as in the love that is Bhagwan, that is like the big, big love, that is that unconditional, expansive love, or source, creation, creator, divinity. So I point to that because some folks don't understand, like even Jai Bhagwan is just another salutation. But it's actually Jai Bhagwan. It's like Bhagwan. This is all Bhagwan. It's all God. It's all blessings and all grace. And so that's really what that is referring to. So Jai Bhagwan.
Jai Bhagwan.
Yeah. So it's like celebrating God, okay, or celebrating Creator. So here we are. So impersonalized prana and personalized prana. So I was kind of like, it came to me this morning or last night that I wanted to kind of talk about that out of nowhere. I was like, okay. It was one of the teachings or the lessons that I received when I was away, and I thought, okay, well let's go with that. So this evening, as I was on my way here, I thought, so what do we do with this? Like, how do we even start to break that down? I needed a context for it. And what came to me is like, okay, well, let's just break it down to impersonalized prana and then personalized prana. But we're going to start with the personalized prana first, because that's something we can actually really connect with a little bit more effortlessly. And then, as I mentioned, I'll lead through a experience to help us kind of bridge the two. Okay? So prana, in case you don't know what that means, it's energy. So prana is energy. So energy as in our innate intelligence, energy of the body. Okay, that's prana. That's the life-giving energy that sustains us. We have biological prana, basically anything that is working our involuntary systems. Okay, our breathing, our all of our heartbeats, anything to do with our nervous system. Also, anything that is sleep-oriented or when we need to eat, anything that's kind of biological that is sustaining us and our day-to-day living experience. Then there's another aspect of prana, which is more like, it's been called spirit prana, but it's kind of like the prana of like the higher centers, the energy of the higher centers. So we know that to be like that love, compassion, devotion, and it has an energy too. I mean, I know we've all felt that, you can feel like your heart's opening or it's, contracting, right? Breaking open or breaking apart, one of the two, right? There's that sense of just, when you look at a baby, brand new, beautiful baby, you're just like, wow, look at that, that's prana, that's pure prana. And yet there's a spiritual quality to that, right? They're like translucent and there's, practically, they have this whole godlike experience going on. So that's spirit prana. The personalized prana, so we have the word prana, we have a sense of that. The personalized prana. So what do you think that would be? Do you have any idea what that might be? Personalized prana. Personalized. We make it ours, like it's mine, right? So let's focus on the thoughts. So personalized prana is when a thought comes by and I say, oh, this is my water bottle, okay? Or something happens and I take it personal. Or there's a story, some kind of a story about, we could even like the coronavirus, right? I mean, we can all personalize that, right? I'm not gonna get close to you because I might get, a virus, or, well, if only the stock market hadn't crashed, I wouldn't have lost all my money, right? So we personalize all these particular life events or situations that happen that really don't have anything to do with us, but we personalize it and identify with them and kind of take them on as being ours. So that's what personalized prana means. And it can go in another direction too. It doesn't have to be like with a negative connotation, if you will. It can be, well, that's my love. We're married, we're in a relationship for, 45 years, right? Or 50 years, right? That's my child, okay? That's personalizing things by identifying with them. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong, just to be clear, like we all have that, identifications, attachments. However, does it ruling us, or are we able to be with it with an evenness of mind and an evenness of understanding? So when we are sitting together with friends, and let's say we're telling a story about something that we heard on the news, okay? And we're telling the story about what this one particular, journalist said about some situation that happened that we're just hearing about. We don't have any direct experience with it. We're just hearing about it through our friend who heard it through a journalist who is talking about something else. So we're like 3 people removed at least, if not more. But we're hearing the story from our friend, and our friend's kind of wound up about it. They're a little bit, full with this thing, whether in a positive way, can you believe we're going to do this, or this is going to happen? Or they might be saying, I can't believe this is happening, wherever or however. And then I'm receiving it as, yeah, oh my God, that's just nuts. I can't, how can people think like that? And then I go into the whole story about it myself. That's personalizing the prana as if it were me, happening to me, when it's not actually happening to me or my friend or even the journalist. Maybe something happened to somebody down the road, 3 people removed, but it's just kind of passed along, but we take it on as it's mine. It's called prana drama. Prana drama, right? So, so prana drama, I mean, we all have things that we attach to, or we let them stick to us. So personalized prana is when prana becomes sticky, okay, when we stick to it. So I'm trying to give you some examples. I'm trying to think about some sticky places. Okay, Here's one. So when we were in India, we had where we had some difficulties with one of the locations that we were staying. And I was very, very even for most of the time away. But this particular night, it was kind of late when we got there. I was a little bit tired. And I was really excited to be where we were because we were all looking forward to this place. It was like the resort, right? 5-star. We're all gonna have massages, and we're gonna have great food, and it's luxury. And we had all these expectations of what it was gonna be like. Not just me, but the whole crew. Everyone did. It's like 50 of us. We all had expectations. So what happened was, it's not a 5-star resort. It was less than that. We didn't have any heat. We're in India. That's not uncommon, but we're also Westerners. Some people didn't have hot water. Some people had to share a bed. And there's a few other things that happened along the way. So over the course of the evening, as we're trying to sort out these specific things that unfolded, me with an evenness of mind, trying to not take it personal that this is happening, but those are my people. Those are my people, and my people are actually now sharing a bed with someone they don't even know. And, that's not what we signed up for. So I start to take it personal, like this is a reflection of me. This is a reflection of the organization that I'm representing, right? So then I'm getting agitated around that. So I was actually personalizing it for me. And it really had nothing to do with me personally. It had nothing to do with me personally. It wasn't like a vendetta, right? It wasn't a manipulation. It wasn't like, we're going to get Hasu. She's not the best chachi out there, so we're really going to get her. So it was but I was taking it on. And what was interesting is not only did I take it on, but then the person behind me who was working in the resort, they were taking it on because, of course, they were letting me down, right? And then the person behind them was taking it on because they were stressing out their staff who were running all over the place trying to fix all these little things that were coming up. And then on top of that, when I shared it with the other tour person, they took it personal. Like they were taking it on because they were letting me down too. So it was really fascinating to see how this thing that was not personal at all was simply a miscommunication, maybe a breach of integrity, but not on our part. Just some things, all these things lined up to create this perfect storm, right? This weather pattern. And this weather pattern affected a lot of people because we had expectations, right? So some folks were like, well, I'm out of here. I'm not sticking around. This is not what I signed up for, right? And so it was really fascinating to watch how some of these things unfolded. In the end, it all got taken care of. It was all good, and everyone had a fantastic time. And we enjoyed ourselves, and we basked in the sun, and we had massages, and we ate great food, and we had better beds, and everything worked out. We had heat, we had hot water. It was fantastic. We were in nature. We loved it. But that first 24 hours, because of all the pieces that came together, created this prana drama. And we took it personally because we had expectations of how we thought it was going to be. And then we were disappointed because it wasn't happening the way we wanted it to happen. So therefore we took it personal, as if there's something, really if we broke it down, we could go, I'm not good enough. I never get what I want. I obviously, don't think about how I spend my money, or I didn't spend enough money, or on and on and on and on it goes, right? So that's just another example of personalized drama. So there are many examples. Do you have one that you'd like to share?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Anybody else? Personalized prana. Have you got one?
Yeah, like 50 some odd years of some of that. I call it window weather. Like, as I've learned and meditated and so forth, I've realized that there's a lot that goes on. Whirling around me and really close sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm really learning to look at it as window weather. I can't control the bolts of lightning and the trees swaying and the rain slashing down and stuff, I can be an observer
Yes.
and try to remain calm and safe, and it's not personal.
Beautiful.
Huge lesson. But like, I'm 69, so.
Thank God you figured it out.
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna say that. It's, some people maybe don't figure that out. But
It's true.
Quite a surrendering feeling,
Yes.
and quite empowering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There you go.
There you go. I love that window weather.
Winter weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all have moments where sometimes we have that evenness of mind. So like that example that I just shared with you, as I said, I felt pretty even, but I got to a point where I'm like, I am getting mad. I actually said it out loud. I am getting mad about this because it didn't seem to be going my way, right? So I was personalizing it. But, we all have those moments where we see those weather patterns. And so even just recognizing that this is a weather pattern, let's watch and see how long this lasts.
Like even tonight, my expectation was to get to the restaurant. And because if, you're hobbling, I wanted a seat. But of course we didn't make reservations. My, prana misuse, I guess.
But we had
And
a
so
wonderful time.
We did, but initially there was that, if we go, then we won't come here.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we leave, we can't come back. So there was that momentary, I wanted certain things, to happen in a certain way.
Yeah.
And they weren't.
Right.
But then they said, well, sit at the bar, and actually we had a really nice conversation with several people, and dissipated.
Beautiful.
And it was great.
That's fantastic.
But it was an expectation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I could see that clearly. Just
Yeah. And it ended up being better sitting at the bar and meeting all these lovely young people that work there.
Yeah.
And shaking hands with people and talking about traveling and sunshine, and it was better than if we sat at a table, just the two of us.
Right. Yeah. It's fantastic, right? So the potential for prana drama was there, and you felt that kind of moving inside of you. Yeah, the boiling, I like that, the boiling.
Yeah.
And then there was a shift, and
especially when if it had been me, I might have just gone, okay, so the bar.
Right.
But it was actually expectation, like for you, you were kind of the figurehead.
Yes.
So you had to take care of all of these people around you.
Right.
And I felt I had to take care of,
my
partner here.
Yes.
And I failed because I hadn't made a reservation.
Right.
I hadn't,
Right.
But then we saw you.
Yeah.
And your
Well, there you go.
I know. And your smiling face, and we were already eating, and we were at the bar, and we looked over, and there was Marnie and her partner, and we just kind of went, this is great. We should do this more often.
But then she cheated. She took it was food.
Yeah, we couldn't get a seat either. Like it was either I eat nothing or I eat something to go. Okay. Yeah. Right?
Could have joined us at the bar.
We could have. I did think about that. So, but I love what you said about there was something in there that you. What did you say? You said, you were wanting to take care of your beloved.
Yes.
So there was that sense of feeling like you were failing.
Yeah.
And that's a really important part of this. Is
Absolutely.
because it's like we internalize it.
Yep.
Like, I am not good enough. I'm failing. I'm not actually, we got the big L on our forehead, which, we don't really, but we internalize it like that, right? So there's internal judgment, there's shame, there's all of that. And actually, that's where we really personalize that prana. And so instead of it being, an expansive experience, it actually becomes a contraction. And if we were to hold on to that personalized prana, it then can become solidified and become a block and something that actually is a hindrance as opposed to something helpful. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, because how can you, then you would have to try to focus and that energy, and then in that instance, in a mundane experience, which would be in a restaurant or on a bus or whatever, it's not like it's in a meditation hall where it would be natural for you to just forget that stuff, but in a mundane experience, how then can you get out of yourself and recognize what it is and then be expansive?
And how did you do it? Because it sounds like you did it.
Well,
so tell us.
We did.
Yeah, it was a joint.
Wonderful.
And the staff.
And I think you took us out of it really, because you said, why don't you just sit at the bar then?
Yeah.
Because if we go, we're gone.
And we had all these smiling faces going, oh my gosh, you've got a boot and you've got a stick and it's your first day out. And everybody started to go, we got to accommodate these people. And it became, we got swept up in all of this positive energy and kindness. But we could have just, it was palpable.
Right.
We could have gone
so fascinating.
Not great.
It's a knife edge.
A knife edge. It's an edge. Beautiful.
Yeah.
How
It
beautiful.
is, and you tip.
Yeah.
And then you start to go, okay, which way do I want to fall?
Yeah.
Do I want to surrender and just see what happens, or do I want to get all pissed off and frown face and go home? And
so which way do you think was easier? Getting all pissed off and frown face. I almost said brown face. Frown face and or surrendering.
I think with practice, surrendering is easier.
Yeah.
You need to.
we don't.
For me, you need to experience it a few times.
Right.
To have some faith and some. Okay, I've done this before.
Yes.
Maybe I can do it again.
Yes.
Different environment, different address, different time of year.
Absolutely.
But maybe I can tip over to the positive side.
So the piece around that is like, as you said, we're on an edge and we have two choices. Either get really, go with the contraction and the frustration and the personalizing of the prana, okay? Or surrendering and having faith and trusting what's going to be revealed. But we need to it's not like we can, that is actually our natural state. However, our programmed way of being is to be contracted, right? And to want it our way, our personalized way, the way we are identified with. So it does take practice to let go of that and allow ourselves to move over to that more of that following faith, surrender, letting go, right? And resting into that, we're going to be taken care of. So that is our natural state, but our propensity and our patterning is here. So it's beautiful that you can even see that and articulate it the way you both did. And now that you've said that, now it's going to be, there's a momentum behind it now, so that now it might show up in bigger opportunities to kind of play with that and see what happens. And don't judge yourself either way, right? It doesn't really matter if we end up personalizing it and getting contracted, okay. If we're able to, surrender and let go and have faith, okay. Don't judge yourself either way, because that's just adding to that personalization. So it's like, it's all a dance, it's all a play.
It's a dance.
It's a dance.
Well, it's been suggested that I have a rubber band on my wrist, and then when the moment arrives, just go, oh, wait a minute, snap. Oh, right.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
You had that, that's a great idea. I love it. That's a great idea.
It's social engineering.
I love it.
You can also lead. You talked about don't take it personally.
Yeah.
I find myself sometimes, Leslie and I are the closest of friends and very loving, and I find myself sometimes feeling protective of her and starting by leading with my intention of saying, don't take this personally.
Right.
I can't do this right now, or it's not going to happen the way we had planned. It's nothing that you did wrong. I love you. It's all good. Don't take this, whatever, personal.
Beautiful.
And it can, well, maybe she can speak to that, but sometimes it can really, really help.
Yep.
Big imagination.
We sure do.
Especially when it comes to taking things personally.
Absolutely, we do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're yogis, honey.
You guys are yogis. I never really knew that. I'm so
Actually, I
excited.
really like the name Yogini.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I love meeting yogis.
Evolved old people.
There's lots of yogis out there. You know, just it's like we started the dialogue and the conversation. Everybody has a sense of their nature. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But we don't tend to live there. We tend to live in, like I said, in these other patterns and these personalized prana as opposed to the impersonal prana. And so, but the more we live over here in this, like on the surrender, the faith, the impersonalized, the easier it is to be there. And so then all this other stuff starts to fall away because we're like, well, why would I want to be pissy, gripey, grumpy about that?
Yeah.
I don't need, that doesn't for me in any way. Right? So let go. Just let go.
It would be a tough one with a 5-star versus a 2-star, though.
It wasn't really a 2-star. It was probably a 4-star. But
I don't know. Sleeping with somebody I've never met. That could be good too.
we worked it all out. By the next day, everybody either had their own bed or they were sleeping with people they knew. So there you go. I'm teasing. They all had their own bed, pretty much. Yeah. So, did you have anything you wanted to speak to about personalized prana?
No, I'm just soaking this all in and just watching evolution happen right in front
Right
of me.
in front
Well,
of
so I kind of sideways, but I'm just, and it's also just hearing it all over again.
Right.
And being reminded.
Yeah.
One piece that I may want to add is if you are on the grumpy, gripey side, it is a big waste of prana.
Absolutely.
You know, and if you start allowing faith and stuff and trust and everything, it's just flows easier and you waste a lot less energy.
Right.
Because being angry and contracted is just like gross and you're tired and you know, then you start eating too much ice cream and cookies and eggies and everything else I have in my cupboard, and you waste all that energy. Then it comes down into your biological.
Yes.
Then your digestive system has to like digest eggies.
Sluggish.
And it adds more and more layers. But if you're leaning over, it's like less energy.
Yes.
Less cookies. Maybe. But yeah.
I feel like that's a really important piece too, the how we spend our prana. So, okay, personalizing our prana, then we're spending it, you know, in a specific way, in like a contracted way. Like it's almost like hoarding, kind of like that. It's kind of like, you know, or being, what's the word? Not thrifty, and not generous. There's another word for it, but being a miser, kind of. Like hanging on to it and not like it's like, oh, this is, you know, like that. And so you can actually look at energy as like a bank. You know, it's a currency, for example, or you can look at it like water too. Prana can be water. It can be a currency, and so. You know, if we really hold on to our money, right, it doesn't actually work for us, right? If we're with it, then we're contracting that relationship with the currency, that fluidity, right? So we have to, you know, and we have to receive it. It has to be this exchange. So we can't just say, well, I want to get what I am due. We have to also give, and then it's that exchange like that. And it might not come from, like, if we spend our energy in one place, we might gather it from somewhere else. We spend our money in one place, we might receive it from somewhere else, not the same location necessarily. When we give somewhere, we might receive from somewhere else. It isn't necessarily the you know, the same direction.
It's a flow.
So it's a flow, exactly. So energy is like that too. Everything's energy, but if we're talking about prana specifically in that way of how I spend my prana, how I save my prana. Right? And so we don't if you overspend your bank account, you're in the red, right? You're in debt. If you overspend your prana, you're in debt. If you're contracted and you're hoarding your money, then you'll notice that there's not a lot of flow coming in. So by personalizing it, saying it's mine, then that restricts that flow. It makes it sluggish, like you were talking about, right? It kind of implodes on itself. But if we're paying attention to, I'm going to spend a little bit, I'm going to save a little bit. And we're kind of playing with that dance and paying attention to how that is all working. Then we have a different, more even expression and experience. So it's a really beautiful point of paying attention to how energy is through us, how we're connecting with it, how we're spending it, how we're conserving it, all of that. And then what happens if we don't, if we're actually, like you said, we're eating food that's not going to be healthy for us, and how that slows down the system, or we feel sluggish, we don't want to exercise, and all of that just adds to that more kind of solidifying that personalized prana experience, right? Then we end up saying, oh, I can't do this because my hip is out, or, something like that. Whereas if we actually did a little less, ate a little better, paid closer attention to that energetic flow, then we might not feel that restriction in our body, because that's going to be the last step. It's going to densify in our body, right?
And that's the most powerful part.
It is.
What it does to you.
That's right. That is the most powerful part. Yeah, for sure. I'll just add another piece on that personalized prana. So we're talking about kids earlier today in a program, and we're talking about how kids can go from laughter to like a rage, like a temper tantrum, right? And how that is, it's personalized in some ways, but it's also fleeting, right? It comes like so fast, I'm so ecstatically happy, and then the next minute they're crying like it was the end of the world, right? And how fast that happens, and then it's gone. So that's personalized prana, but it's so fleeting, right? So as we age, we tend to really grab onto that and really hold on to it. And so I'm sure that we all have a story about something that happened to us when we were 20, or maybe when we were 10, or maybe when we were 5, that we still personalize about our life. Something our mother did, or our father did, or maybe our sibling did, that actually affected us at who we are today. But what's interesting about that is actually that happened how many years ago? And they probably didn't do it on purpose to really hurt you or me, right? It wasn't something they did maliciously to hope, oh God, I hope that they carry this with them for their whole entire life, right? It was in a moment, some reaction that they were having. And it happened however many years ago, but we're still carrying it. 20 years later, 30 years later, 40 years later. Some of us carry it right until the very end of our life. That's personalized prana. At all, right? It's not serving us. It's just keeping us bound by something that happened, not even probably with much intention behind it. Just something that happened.
Yeah, it's a wound.
Yeah, it's a wound, but we keep it gaping open, right? Yeah.
Chuck some salt in there.
Yeah, add a little bit and dig in there a little bit. Keep showing people, look, look what happened to me, right? And it's, I'm not saying that we can't, that we don't need to pay attention to, experiences that we have that we experience as traumatic. However, the more we go back in there, we can re-traumatize ourselves, because there's a groove that we are, we're deepening by constantly revisiting it. So for healing, yes, we want to allow ourselves to experience that personalized prana, if you will, or that densification of prana where we got stuck, but we also want to move through it in a very conscious way, so that whatever is undigested can begin to be digested and can continue to move through this, where prana can continue to move through this tube of, through can continue to move through this body-mind complex, so that we have that energy freed up, so we can use it for co-creation and, inspiration and empowerment, like you were talking about. Creativity, exactly, right? So I wonder if, so let's just jump ahead to impersonalized prana for a second and just see, do we have any quandaries around what that is? So let's just kind of check in on that.
I'm not sure.
Okay. So impersonalized prana, impersonal prana. That would be, okay. So a moment ago you were mentioning that if you spoke to your beloved here and said, don't take this personal, right? That you're basically claiming whatever it is that you're about to say is not personal. So therefore it's impersonal. It's the opposite. It might be maybe personal to you, but probably not even that. It's just circumstantial.
Mm-hmm.
It's a situation, right? It's kind of logistics, maybe. But it's not about, I need it to be this way, or it has to be that way, or I don't want you to feel like this is about something about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that has happened. It wasn't intentional. It's not to hurt you. It's just a situation that occurred. It's an external kind of rolling out of things.
Is it a flowing without attachment?
Yes. Yes. I know, I felt that too.
He's deep.
It's that. It's like, it's without attachment,
Yeah.
you know? Absolutely.
Can you give us some more examples?
Yeah, impersonalized. So, well, I think biologically, some examples of that would be when you're hungry, you eat, right? But let's put it this way. So let's say your pattern is to eat at 8, 12, and 6. Okay, that's your pattern. Maybe you were hungry at those times as you grew up, or maybe that's just what happened in the household. We eat at 8, 12, and 6. But now, as we are adults, instead of listening to when we're actually hungry, which might be 5 or 9, right, or 1, we're like, oh no, I gotta eat. It's 12 o'clock. I gotta eat right now. So that's a personalized energy. Whereas listening to what is the natural flow of energy, prana, impersonalizing it, just like attuning to it as it happens now, then we're not layering our own preference on top of it and just sensing. So we're not, no, my preference is I always eat at 12, so whether I'm hungry or not, I'm going to eat then. It's like, oh, what is happening here? I'm hungry now. It's only 10 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to eat something. So not layering our own preference on top of it. So therefore it's impersonal. Does that help?
Yeah.
Being tired.
That's another great example. Yeah, biologically we're tired, but how often do we, I heard someone say today, I'm going to blaze through it. It's like, okay, that's one way to do it, live your life. Or you could actually listen to what prana is saying and respond to that, so that it's not personal. I'm gonna manage and control my prana. I'm gonna listen to what prana is telling me. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to be quiet, right? I need to close my eyes. I need to, whatever, drink of water, like right now.
Or even like first thing in the morning when you wake up, like you don't think about it, you maybe stretch and you're not thinking about it. Your body's taking over.
Exactly.
And doing that.
Exactly.
Even just like, or a yawn.
Exactly.
And then that prana bounces and then the next person yawns.
Exactly.
The next person yawns. But it's just that life force that kind of takes over.
Exactly.
And moves your body instead of you waking up going, I think I'm going to stretch my right arm over my head.
Perfect.
No, you just open and it happens.
That's it. It happens.
It's that natural flow.
It's that natural flow. And so actually life is like that. Life has been revealing itself to us like that ever since we were in existence. However, we have this amazing activity called mind that layers on top of it all the time. And it's fascinating because it's such a power that we have, this activity of mind, to create and invent and to direct and manage. However, we tend to also get caught in all of the other uses that are not as beneficial for us. So I love how you said, this impersonal prana is really like, yeah, I just wake up in the morning and my body just wants to stretch. I didn't think about how I was going to stretch. I didn't try to figure out, how do I want to move myself before I actually get out of bed? It just happens spontaneously, effortlessly, automatically, with ease. So hopefully that gives you
So basically,
yeah.
prana is impersonal. To
Basically.
be complicated.
Oh,
Personal.
there you go. That's the truth right there.
Truth.
That is the truth. Prana is impersonal. It doesn't have a preference, right? It doesn't have a direction like that, or a distinction, right? It doesn't have any identifications or attachments, right? Until we personalize it.
Yeah.
Until we identify with it, until we attach to it, until we want it to be a certain way, until we have an expectation, or we have a disappointment, or we have some story around it, or some drama, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's like, for me, impersonal prana would be, just a movement, and it happens. Personalized is if someone's watching, or if I'm really focused, or I'm suddenly aware that I'm trying to do something that's just exactly there, then my finger can shake, or I don't do what I'm supposed to do, because my mind has entered into the motion that my body wanted to take. And if I'd made it impersonal, then it would have just been a flow. It's like, when they do the archery and you take your mind out of it.
Exactly.
Then
That's
it
a
will find a
good
target.
example.
That's a beautiful example.
But you have your mind in, and suddenly, no, I'm sorry,
No, you can't.
it's not going to work.
Right.
For me, that's the difference between personal and impersonal.
That's a beautiful example.
And when you talked about the currency, it just came to me like a lightning bolt that we do have great expectations, whether it's conscious or unconscious, about our credit of prana.
Yes.
And we can so quickly be in debt
Yes.
with our prana,
Yes.
with lack of sleep, not eating well,
Yes.
making poor decisions about people we work with, or
Yeah.
it can very quickly, the balance can be off. Yeah.
And even just by think about it throughout your whole day, your 24 hours, you're awake, and just one decision of, I'm going to get this one more email out before I pee. Oh, no, I'm going to answer this phone before I pee. And then
Yes.
6 days in a row of holding your pee, well, you pee, but, you end up with the urinary tract
Yes.
infection because you weren't listening to your biological prana, and all of a sudden you have this bigger problem. And that's just one decision throughout the day, and then you're like, oh, I'm starving, I'm going to eat cookies, or instead of listening, maybe I can just get by with a couple carrots or one cookie. And that's a second decision throughout the day. And it just layers and layers and layers, and then you're completely in debt for your energy.
Yeah. Except that you are in control of that
Yeah.
by the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
But there's an expectation that might not be our perception of what the expectations are of others. Do this to please that person, or that board, or
Right.
that corporation, or
Right.
whatever.
But it's always like,
always.
yeah.
Yeah.
If
But a
we-
lot of time we don't.
No,
I
we
don't.
don't.
But then how can you learn, if my impersonal prana, for example, doesn't fit with your personal prana, so suddenly you're going, I think you need to learn something here. I'm going, no, I don't. Or maybe I go, oh, good point. Yeah, that was mean. Or I didn't mean it. It was impersonal, but my words had an effect. And so I'm trying to learn to be empathetic.
Yep.
Mixed success at times. But so how does that work?
Right.
With impersonal and personal
Right.
prana, when you go to someone else and you give them what you have, not meaning to invade them in any way,
Right.
but it's just, it came from who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how does that work with
That's
learning
that loop
experience?
again. a learned loop
Yeah.
from
So
a very young wound, right?
it could be. There's many possibilities there. But I want to go back to what you pointed to, because something you pointed to was really, really important, and you were very conscious about that. You said something about your hand and your finger, and something about if you just look at it and then you notice it's moving, it's not you thinking I'm going to move it, but it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
That it was impersonal.
I work as a
Right.
tactile, so.
Right.
But as long as I keep my mind out of it,
Right.
Yeah.
things flow nicely.
Right. So that comes back to the same question,
Okay.
or the question you just asked about that. So as soon as you turn your mind to how can I make this better for the other person, then your mind's in it. Or if your mind is in it before, when they made a suggestion, said no, I'm not doing that. If there was if it was a contraction or a resistance to I'm not doing that, that's also it's called a reaction. And it's not, reactions aren't bad. We have good reactions, bad reactions, positive, negative, whatever, right? But it's a reaction, which means it's a pattern from a loop from before,
Yeah.
which means it's a memory thing. So
Yeah.
when your mind's in it, then it's personalized. When you can
Right.
keep the mind out of it, it's not. So
Birds in the memory thing.
right. So the moment so let's say, you were asked to do something, you said, no, I'm not going to do that. You might have had a very natural, biological reason for saying no. However, as soon as, then someone took it personal, for example, and then you're like, oh, wait. And then you're basically rethinking what was a natural response. So then you have to rethink it, because someone has taken it personal, and then you're taking it personal, like, oh, I didn't mean to hurt them. I didn't mean to, hurt their feelings, or to say something off, or whatever. So there's nothing wrong with investigating where we are in that play, but be mindful not to get entangled in somebody else's personalizing.
Yeah, it's messy.
So part of one is to then just take a step back from the tendency to lean in to, oh gosh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you or offend you or anything. That is like, just take a step back and just check in with yourself. Check in. Okay.
Yeah.
That was, and some people, was my mind getting in there, or was it just natural? And if it's just natural, okay, that's who you are, and it just came. And then the other person can take a step back and say, let me just check in with myself here. Am I personalizing this because I wanted, I'm taking it like they don't love me, or they're, don't think I'm worthy, or whatever the story is, right? And that's that loop from the past. And so then we are being self-responsible. We're backing away, kind of resetting, checking in, where is this coming from? And then coming back to with more clarity, clear thinking. And that's that we talked about the biological prana. That's actually now moving into more of that spirit prana, where we kind of revisit the heart center and kind of check in, like, what's happening from this body-mind complex. That was a natural response that maybe came from a reaction, but maybe it was just a clear yes or a clear no. And then the other person's like, okay, now I'm in my heart center. What's happening for me? Okay, oh, I see that there's a pattern, a loop I have, a story I have about this belief system that's not actually really helping me. So if I just put that aside, and then I can be more authentic and true to myself, still speak what maybe I need. And the other person, if I speak what I need, the other person can then meet me there or not. But if they don't meet me, I don't have to take it personal, because I've actually to say what I need. I'm empowered, I spoke what I need, but I can surrender the results.
You said that before, but you said it differently.
I have the right to action.
That's it. Yeah.
But not the fruit.
That's it.
But not the
fruits of my action.
Oh, that's
I
excellent.
have the right to action. That's from the Bhagavad Gita. I have the right to action, but not the fruits of my action. So if I feel like I need to speak and I have what I'm going to call my own truth, okay, not necessarily the truth for everyone, but for me in this moment, that's in alignment with how I am, and I just want to clarify. So even my truth is personalized prana. Okay, my truth is personalized prana because it's mine. If it's not personalized, if it's impersonal, it would be everybody's truth. Do you see that? So it's personalized prana if it's my truth. However, I can still speak what I need to say and be empowered by it, but not take it personally if the other person or situation doesn't give me what I want.
Yeah.
So I like to bring it back to what's the intention? When you're in those kind of negotiations, if you will, what's the intention? And so if your intention is really just to be open in your heart, then sometimes just listening is actually the most open, impersonal place we can rest. Yeah.
Certainly the truest place.
Yeah. So.
And then being aware and having these tools to step back and then come back. That dance also saves the energy of staying contracted and separate.
Absolutely.
Because it's more open and less energy.
Yeah.
So stepping back when you're wasting energy in the mucky stuff, and when you can step back and let that go, reassess, and then come back, it's just like a yoga practice. When you're all stuck and all mucky and you're not into a pose and you're angry and you're like, oh, maybe if I just not bend that far over, and you can relax, you're wasting a lot less energy than when you're all like, and I'm doing.
And it's a lot more inclusive then.
Yeah.
It almost feels more inviting
Yes.
because people are feeling and not taking it personally, right? So they're coming to the table sort of feeling pretty good about all the energy that's happening.
The word that came to mind was co-creation. So there's a co-creation. There's like an interconnectedness, right? That happens when we are experiencing more of an impersonalized prana experience, right?
What's coming from me too while you're talking about some of these examples and things in the energy bank is how infectious the prana is. And I was listening to your first example, and if we take something personal and we put it out there, then immediately everybody jumps on board, right? And
recruiting.
Yeah, definitely. And then if we stay in that impersonal prana, or just don't jump in there.
Just don't go in there, man.
Right, and then the others don't jump on board, and it's much like you say, much more inviting and inclusive, and it's infectious, and you're not draining your prana bank.
That's right.
Or other people's prana bank.
Yes,
You're not trying to being energy vampires.
Right, energy vampires.
You're not being that person. You're just like.
The problem is today, I was saying to Mackenzie, it's bad design. We don't have a gauge or a needle that says, low energy or great energy or high energy or anything. So, how do you learn that stuff?
Well, I think you can cultivate that. And it's by being pretty centered, not in a selfish way, but being grounded and centered by taking yoga, exercising, eating well.
Yeah,
meditating.
Being
Very
silent and still.
Pausing.
Yeah.
And it's a slow, gradual growth, but you've got a lot to bank on. When you've had 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 experiences, you begin to trust that.
That's right.
And you sort of go, okay.
Yeah. So what happens is, coming back to your example of, when you don't let your mind get in there and you actually just stay attuned to that that energetic presence that you were talking about in the hands, because you work with your hands, the more we allow our energy body to be kind of like the guiding force, the stronger it becomes, right? So the stronger the messages become, the stronger the prompts become. So, you know, we know the biological prompts of bathroom and sleep and hunger and even, you know, sex and all, we know all of those biological prompts, right? The ones that are less obvious are, well, actually, when you're in relationship with someone, you can feel like you can feel like when you hug somebody or when you're in communication, you can feel when their attention moves away from the conversation, right? You can feel when they're getting a little bit ready to move on, you know, you can feel that, right? Even on the phone, you can feel it. So, right? So, I mean, I have many times just put the phone down. Okay, I'm going on with what I'm listening, but I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I gotta get moving, right? So that's, but the more you pay attention to that natural prompt within yourself and honor it, the stronger it grows, right? And that's that impersonalized prana that only becomes personalized when we identify with it. So we just start to listen to it, and then it will grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Yeah.
There's a lot happening in the background here.
There's a lot happening in the background
This
here.
is one of the deepest conversations I've ever had.
So,
Yes.
Yikes.
so you have a circular thing happening that comes from the past, and it makes you so that you are present when you shouldn't be. And that's personalizing, but you're personalizing with that wheel from the past. So you're saying if you cultivate the impersonal prana to make that moment stronger, so that instead of the wheel from the back, from the past that's coming to affect how my hands move, for example, it would be a training to strengthen impersonal so that I could fluidly do something. Is that?
Yes, and you don't have to actually strengthen impersonal prana. You have to strengthen your knowing of that.
My knowing.
Because it's there. It's constantly present. Because prana is prana.
Yeah.
It actually isn't personal or impersonal.
That's right. Yeah.
However, we're classifying it as personal and impersonal because we tend to personalize it, right? But really, it really is just prana. So the more you put your attention on the energy or prana as that is your guiding light or force, as your the innate intelligence system of the body, right? The wisdom of the body, the innate the life force of this, then the activity of mind is also managed by prana. But we tend to allow the thoughts, the memories, the imagination, the projections drive us. So mind is subtler than the actual physical energetic current that's running through us. Mind tends to feed off of that current.
So you're turning the illusion into a reality when you should be focused on the energy, not the illusion that you created.
Right. Right.
That's a cool way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an illusion because even if it's a memory, like it might have really happened, but it happened. Even if it just happened yesterday, it's already done.
Yeah.
It's already happened. We can't change it. We can't make it different. It's already done.
Yeah.
It's exactly like
Yeah.
it's already done. We can't do anything about what already happened earlier today. It's done.
It's done.
We can only learn, go, oh, okay, that happened. Can I learn from that? How would I respond the next time that happened, maybe, or a similar situation? But even then, we can't predict the future either, right? So we might have the same scenario occur to us, and we still respond in the same way. That's called that reactive patterning, habitual propensities.
Yeah.
However, so that's just the nature of our tendency. But the more we connect with the energy that we are and honor that pranic field that we are, strengthen it through eating good, sleeping well, exercising, all of meditation, all those things keeping our attention there, then we will listen to those promptings and we'll hear, yeah, don't go out tonight. You're tired, stay home. Or that feeling of, I really just want to say this thing. The mind really wants to say this thing, but actually I'm not going to say it. I'm going to feel that tendency for that, whatever it is, to rise up, but I'm not going in there. I'm just going to let it go back down. Because it's not going to serve. If I say it, if it comes out of my mouth, then it's probably going to hurt somebody's feelings.
And you can't unring a bell.
And you can't pull it back.
Yeah.
Right?
And then you just affected their prana,
Exactly.
their energy body, and
Right.
then got them whirling, and then then they're recruiting,
And then it's a big weather pattern.
Yeah.
But then sometimes
What happens next?
you and I are learning a lot from each other.
We sure are.
Because we, I'm still, work in progress. So stuff comes out, and at least now I'm, oh, did I say that? Okay. It might not be the best thing, so we discuss and then we both grow from that.
Right.
Rather than, So it's interesting. So sometimes when you put it out, it might have been the wrong thing, but then it's a way for you to learn about your wrong thing.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right about that too. Like that is because you're both willing to show up in that and to co-create and explore that.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to do that. There are circumstances you wouldn't want to do that because it's going to be not a nice reaction.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
you won't learn from it. It'll just insulate you more.
That's right. Beautiful.
And adding on to that, it's because of all the teachings and my training and everything that has allowed me to be open to have conversations with my father-in-law.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, I would have, a lot of the situations, it would have been not great. And then we're contracted, but now it's okay.
Yeah, you've got the right to say stuff.
Yeah,
and rather
flow.
And you can help me to learn.
And rather than what you're saying and feeling about a situation can change the energy, and it doesn't have to be a memory or a trigger that has nothing to do with what she just said. It's a memory. And it's a loop. Oh, I always react this way when that happens.
Yep.
And it's totally making it personal.
Yep.
But if you recognize it and you go, oh,
there it is.
there it is.
Yep.
There's that trigger again.
Yep.
Different day, different person.
Yep.
Different address.
Absolutely.
But that trigger is
that's
very strong.
That button belongs here, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's pushing it. So they say don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
Right? Don't kill the button pusher.
Yeah.
Right? Get rid of the button, but not the pusher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say another feeling that I had through this whole discussion tonight when you were talking about your finger and the arrow. It reminds me of, I used to be a potter, and I had good days, most of them, but I had not so good days. And when you take a raw piece of clay and you've kneaded it just right, and you've got all the air out of it, and now it's got the warmth of your body and energy in that clay, and you smack it on the kiln, and you get yourself in the right position, and you start to form a bowl, and you have an intention, you know where you want to go with this, and you start to move the clay and lift it up. But some days you are just not bringing the right energy. So all the potential is there, all that energy, all that warmth, that clay, you've just got it all happening, and it just goes off the wheel, right? And to recognize that and go, today's not the day. Pause and step back, maybe go for a walk, come back, no, still not the day. But when you do it, this is where I'm getting at, when you hit that sweet spot, there is nothing like it. You're creating, you actually feel it in your heart when you're doing it. And you are centered.
Yes.
And I wish all people could experience that. Richard as a glass blower does the same thing. If the glass isn't centered, it's gonna go waka, 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 and it's not gonna, no matter what he does, sometimes he has to just say, step back. But we can do that, we do this with people. We do this with the energy that we exchange. You know, it's centering and it's all about
us
here.
being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I teach yoga, because I feel that
Yes, that sweet spot.
every time I'm on my mat.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, I get it.
Should I lead you through an experience?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this is the energetic diffusion technique. So if you're at home, I invite you to also test us there. Jaiva Guan. Hi, Eileen. Ganga. Okay, so sit up comfortably and without making yourself unnecessarily concerned, just make sure that you feel supported and in a comfortable position that you can remain probably for 10 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to guide you through this energetic diffusion technique. So just take a few deep breaths. Okay. And now just bring into awareness a situation that feels incomplete for you. Feel it fully. And make it very real for you, as if you were in the middle of it right now. And just notice where you feel that in your body. And fully observe the range of sensations. And if you were to describe the sensation, what would you say? What does it feel like? And just be aware. And now breathe into that place of sensation. And use the breath to be with what is there. I'm not trying to make it go away. I'm just using the breath to hang out with it. Breathing into it. And just let it be as it is. And simply observe what you are aware of now. Truly feel the sensation. And if it's changed or moved, just stay with it. Let it be fully felt. Not trying to avoid any part of the experience. As if to say, I'm willing to be you. And give it full permission to be. Experiencing without trying to change it Just allowing it to be just as it is. Breathe with it. Stay with it. And simply observe what you are aware of now. And create space for what's there. And don't resist what you're feeling. Just cultivate a sense of relaxation in the midst of all of it. Be soft, spacious, at ease. Continue to breathe with what is present, making space for all to be just as it is. As if to say, it's okay that you're here. And stay present, interested, and curious. And if you feel yourself moving into any avoidance, just simply breathe and come back to an openness to what you are feeling. Notice what happens in your body as you remain present, relaxed, connected. And continue to use your breath and attention to be with it all just as it is. And simply observe what you are aware of now. Make space for it all to be. It just needs to be acknowledged. It's removing yourself from any tendency to control or resist. Just let it be as it is without making it any different. Now bring your attention to the point between the eyebrows. And drop below whatever is happening to a space of silence. And whether the sensation has shifted or not, allow integration to happen with where you are now. Trusting any release, any shifts, any changes that need to take place will happen spontaneously, effortlessly. Let go of any need to make anything happen at all. Just simply merge into stillness and silence. Now slowly allow the hands to find their way together. And again, just notice that slight anticipation of the skin boundary just before the hands touch. You might notice some heat or a magnetic pressure between the palms. Then allow the hands to begin to find their way upwards towards the face. Again, slow motion. Just kind of resting back, sensing and feeling as the hands begin to find their way towards the face. Again, there might be some heat before the hands and the face even touch. And allow all expression to drop from the face. And then just wiping the face with the hands. And allow the hands to find their way towards the lap. And then gradually you can open the gaze. And so we can complete our time together here unless you feel something that's kind of rising up, revealing itself as impersonal prana that needs to be spoken. Let's just chant the sound of Om together. Let's take a deep breath in. Hari Om Shanti, healing, peace. Jai Bhagwan.
Jai Bhagwan.
Jai Bhagwan. Bhagwan. So Bhagwan is impersonal prana. Thank you once again for being here this evening and playing and investigating and revealing and reporting.
Thank you.
And Jai Bhagwan to all of you that are visiting us from wherever you are in the waking state. Thank you so much.